We do have some presentations. The first is to receive a presentation from the 2016 San Bruno Sister City Student Exchange Delegation to Narita, Japan.
Good evening, Mayor Wu Wayne and members of the City Council. I am Carrie Burns and the city's Community Services Director. I had the pleasure and distinct honor of leading the 2016 Sister City delegation to Narita, Japan in this, its 26th year of the exchange program. Our delegation was made up of 2 representatives from the San Bruno Park School District, Superintendent Cheryl Olson, and Parkside Middle School teacher Linda Ballantyne. This year's student delegation included 8 recently graduated students from Parkside Middle School, who you will see in just a moment to make presentations. The City of San Bruno, the San Bruno Park School District, the San Bruno Sister City Committee, the City of Narita, Japan, the Narita Friendship Society, San Bruno Parents and Families, Narita host families, and all our translators made the week of the exchange program filled with friendship and goodwill and a truly memorable experience. Throughout the enriching week of friendship, goodwill, and exchange, we met city officials and visited Narita city facilities, including City Hall and a fire station, the newly constructed University of Health and Welfare, the Kazumi Elementary School, Nihon Automobile College, and the Japan Airlines Maintenance Center. We also had an opportunity to experience traditional tea and prayer services, visit a shrine in Tokyo, and a Buddhist temple, and as representatives of the city of Narita, had the privilege of pulling a dashi through the Gion Festival. Throughout the trip, I was so very, very proud of our students. They presented speeches in Japanese, including their remarks to the Narita mayor and elected officials. They were respectful, interested, and participated in all of the week-long activities, including the performance of their dance on several occasions. They were truly outstanding representatives of the delegation. Tonight, our students are here to briefly share with you their experiences and thanks. Following their remarks, Superintendent Cheryl Olson will make a few closing comments. Thank you so much for the experience of a lifetime. And there's a slideshow that includes some of the photographs from the trip. I'd like to now welcome Tristan Davis to share with you his experience.
Good evening. My name is Tristan, and I was part of the Narita program. So during my short visit to Narita, Japan, my view of the world changed in many ways. I have learned much about the Japanese culture, or Japanese way of life, as well as their religion. I was also deeply touched by the amount of kindness and hospitality coming from the Japanese people. During my stay in Japan, I learned about the Japanese religion. When we visited the temples and shrines, I enjoyed watching and listening to the prayers being made. I also enjoyed experiencing the Japanese ways of life. I was interested mostly by the different house styles and the very elegant mannerisms used by everyone in Japan. What I appreciated most about my stay in Japan was the kindness of the host families. It was a privilege to stay at the host family houses and to explore the city with them. I also very much appreciated the kindness and hospitality of the mayor and city staff. What stood out to me the most during the trip was how daily life is organized in the city. When we visited Narita and Tokyo, I noticed that the majority of the people used bikes, took the bus, or rode on trains. I found this interesting because it made the city more efficient and environmentally friendly. It was an honor and a privilege to visit the city of Narita, and I hope to visit it again, as well as other places in Japan, maybe for the Summer Olympics in 2020. And that's it.
Great,
Thank you.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of San Bruno. My name is Celeste Javier, and I was one of the lucky students to visit Narita, Japan. My experience with this program is definitely life-changing. I recall the first moment the Japanese delegates and I first chatted via email. I was beyond nervous that we wouldn't bond at all, but after weeks of exchanging interests and how we spent our days, we could consider each other friends. It was very exciting, especially when we greeted the delegates at the SFO airport. Believe me, I started crying because I never expected to grow attached to someone who lived across an entire ocean. It still feels bizarre that we developed lasting and meaningful friendships with people our age with a different culture, and yet we're still able to connect despite our language barriers. I felt proud to be able to show off my city. It's pretty amazing how things I rarely pay attention to, the delegates found a way to appreciate it. They taught me to enjoy the smallest to biggest details, and similar to the delegates, when I was in Japan, I noticed customs that are normal to them but are completely different from what I'm used to. Thanks to this program, I was able to broaden my horizons and find a motivation to becoming multilingual. We were greeted so warmly by the Narita officials and families, and they were so welcoming. I felt honored to be a part of this program in my own city. I wish I could state all the wonderful memories that I would cherish forever, but that would probably take another half an hour or so. I'm so glad I took this opportunity to immerse myself in Narita's civilization and experience everyday life in another country. Someday, I hope to return to the city of Narita to relive the journey I will never forget. Thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Now here's Audrey Kim.
All right, hello, I'm Audrey Kim, and good evening. The trip to Narita was so much fun. It was a one-of-a-kind experience going to Japan and getting a more vivid experience than any tourist would ever have when going there. Instead of visiting popular beaches and Japanese hotspots as a tourist just going on vacation, I got to live the lifestyle of an actual Japanese citizen living through his or her life. I spent cozy evenings with my host family, went to shopping malls with them, and visited schools. Some things I liked during my stay was the shopping mall because they're much different than our Tampa Mall here. First, they're much bigger, and one of them had like a huge pirate play structure in front, which is like pretty cool, but it was closed, so I couldn't go on it, unfortunately. And they both had like large arcades with a lot of video games, and they also had special Japanese photo booths, which were also pretty fun. Another experience I enjoyed was staying at one of the host family's houses. So this particular host girl had a steakhouse behind her back, which was pretty cool by itself. And the steak was also pretty good, but not only that, her cousins came over, and we played video games. It wasn't like a big, flashy, expensive thing. It was a nice, cheap, cozy, intimate thing that we all did. And we also had sparklers, which was something I'd never done before, so that was also pretty cool. One more highlight I went to was Tokyo Disneyland. I had went to Disneyland before in California, but it was like a long time ago. So I came with a blank slate of what to expect. When I came back home to my host family, tired and exhausted, the slate was filled with colorful chalk drawings. We rode like a few rides because they were like really long lines, but it was still so great, like how Disney expected it and how Japan would have made it. The host family gave me so many gifts. I don't think I could ever repay them for all the kindness they've given me. And they've given me like personal pictures of the rides they went on also. Overall, this experience has been so much fun. There are a bunch of pros. I found memories I never would have gotten anywhere else. I went to lots of fun places, and I made so many great friends, among other things. I learned a lot about Japanese culture and language and how various systems acted during this trip. This was so much fun. Thank you so much to Narita and San Bruno for making all of this happen. And next is Isabella Barbia.
Hi, I'm Isabel, and good evening. My trip to Narita, Japan has not only left me with images from such a beautiful place, but unforgettable memories, friendships, and knowledge of a culture quite different from my own. I would have to say my favorite part of the experience was in the Dujinjai temple, where I celebrated like my birthday. They brought me a cake, and it's pretty cool. And they like smashed it in my face, and but I also like that was like one of the parts that I really liked. And then I also just appreciated just like walking around and looking at the surroundings from like around the temple because it was so peaceful and quiet, and like you don't really get that much in like I don't know, like San Francisco and stuff. But I also really appreciated the hospitality and like all the food they gave us. And the experience was really eye-opening to me because it made me think of like all the other cultures I could experience like throughout my life and places and stuff, you know. And I'm sure that I'll never forget this journey, and I hope someday that I get to return there. And next is Joelle.
Hi, I'm Joelle. Good evening. Thank you for having me here. The thing I like most about the trip is when we went to make desserts at the confectionery, because I love to bake. Being able to make these delicious and cute desserts was an honor. I learned a lot of things in Japan, from their customs and courtesies, to the history of the Dajoni temple we stayed at, and more. I appreciated everything at this on this trip. The people at the city hall treated us like royalty, and the adults that put up with us all week, and the host families who were humble and generous beyond belief. I'm so astonished how everyone welcomed us with open arms and warm hearts. I'm also grateful and fortunate enough to be able to go on this trip with all my friends, and I would like to say thank you to everyone who made this trip possible and unforgettable. Next up is Oliver.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oliver Otake, and first of all, I think I'd like to thank everyone in the city of San Bruno and everyone who made this trip possible. Without all of you guys, I wouldn't be able to experience the amazing things I did. So, and secondly, I'd like to thank the people Narita, who also helped me make me feel at home, despite being in such a faraway place. They all made the transition significantly easier and much more fun. The host families I stayed with were extremely kind and hospitable, and they made amazing food every day I spent with them. I made some unforgettable memories during my stay in our sister city. Spending time with some of your best friends and making new ones on top of that is a recipe for a great time. It's impossible to pick out just one part of the trip and call it my favorite, but in my opinion, the best three, in no particular order, were pulling the float at the Yon Festival, spending time at the temple, and visiting different parts of Tokyo. Despite the difficulty of pulling the float, it was still a fun, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I'm honored to take part in. Staying at the temple was truly incredible in every way. I got to spend time with friends, eat delicious food, and learn traditional Japanese dance, trace a photo of the Buddha, meditate, do yoga, and countless other things. Visiting Tokyo allowed me to cross a huge thing off my bucket list. The Meiji Shrine was beautiful and unlike anything I've seen before. Takeshita Street was also really interesting and had a bunch of amazing shops. Participating in this program was highly beneficial for me, and I would jump at the chance to do it again. I would definitely recommend the incoming 8th graders apply for this trip, as it will give them lifelong memories and friends, and even make you a better person. This trip proved to me that neither language nor distance are barriers to the relationships of people. The friends and memories I've made will last me a lifetime, and I'll cherish them forever. Thank you.
Well, I couldn't say anything more eloquently than they have, so I echo everything that they have said. I also want to thank Judy Spooner from Parkside. She's done a lot throughout the year to get the groups ready to go, and we appreciate her too. And we really wanted this to be primarily for our students to share with you, but I know I speak for both Linda and myself. We were deeply honored to participate in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We'll never forget the beautiful people we met there, as well as the countryside and culture that we experienced. The Sister City Exchange program is essential, and we will fully support it. Lastly, we were incredibly proud of our students. They were amazing, polite, and fully engaged in every aspect of the trip, and I think they did San Bruno and the school district proud. And they will be presenting tomorrow night for our school district board as well at Parkside. And so again, thank you for the time and dedication and efforts that you put into keeping this incredible program alive and well. We are grateful. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Cheryl and Carrie, and represented the city and all the students and everyone that went. I was there, and it is a very special place, and they just treat you like gold. So it's wonderful. And I can safely say on behalf of the entire city council, we're committed also to keeping this program going, because that's what should be happening more and more around the world, is what we have here in San Bruno. So thank you very, very much. Now we have a presentation by our city clerk on vacancies and expired terms on the city's boards, commissions, and committees. All residents are invited to apply no later than Friday, September 23rd. Carol?
Mayor, Council, the commission, boards, and committees serve a very important role in helping council make decisions that affect all the citizens of San Bruno. The City of San Bruno has 8 boards, commissions, and committees whose members are filled by San Bruno volunteers who are at least 18 years old. The commissions, boards, and committees include the Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee, Citizens Crime Prevention Committee, Community Preparedness Committee, Culture and Arts Commission, Parks and Recreation Commission, Personnel Board, Planning Commission, and Traffic Safety and Parking Committee. Each member is appointed by the City Council. Members meet in the evening once a month or less, serving staggered 4-year terms that expire in October of every even year, at which time members can seek reappointment for another term. This October, we have 24 terms expiring and are in the process of seeking volunteers for appointment or reappointment. Letters have been sent to all those individuals. They'll have until Friday, September 23rd at 5 o'clock to respond, and the interviews will take place in 2 weeks on September 27th at 6 o'clock. Commissions, boards, and committees occasionally have vacancies during regular terms, resulting in additional volunteer opportunities outside of the regular even-year term expirations. As those vacancies occur, the City Council appoints members to fulfill the vacated spot. On occasion, those vacancies are for a partial term, and the individual must reapply. Efforts to solicit include advertising on the web, the Daily Journal, the bulletin boards at City Hall, and thanks to Marty Medina helping me with my job on Nextdoor. At any time, the City Clerk's office will accept an application for any board, commission, or committee and will hold the application for up to 2 years. If a vacancy arises, the applicant is notified and invited to participate in interviews by the City Council. Description of these committees can be found on the San Bruno City website by going to the City Clerk under the Government section. Scroll down and click on the commission, board, or committee you are interested in, and it'll give a description of what they do. Residents that are interested in volunteering their time for a commission, board, or committee, please contact the City Clerk's office by email, cityclerksoffice@sanbruno.ca.gov, or by phone 650-616-7058. We look forward to hearing from you, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Carol? Ken?
Through the chair, yes, Carol, in some cases, rarely, there are incumbents or expiring members that possibly haven't had good attendance. And and I know there are, their ordinance and their guidelines, specify certain guidelines, I guess, on attendance. Would you be able to provide us with that information? Because I hate to say it, but if you're not attending the meetings, then you probably should be reconsidered.
We'll be glad to. That'll help
Yeah.
with your decision making.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Anything else for Carol? All right. After Carol, I just want to encourage everyone who's interested in anything to do with this city, because the commissions, boards, and committees are really the lifeblood of what happens here. It's all volunteer, but it's all behind the scenes, most of it. Very important, so please, if you're interested at all, apply and interview. But thank you, Carol.